Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport, and I'm doing a Formula 1 review during the day, which is shocking. I normally do it at about midnight. And there's a lot of stuff to talk about this weekend from the Italian Grand Prix from Monza, one of the greatest Grand Prix tracks on the calendar. And this was a very good race. I enjoyed this one. Let's start with qualifying. It was a waste of time. So many people had penalties, they might as well have not bothered. It was a mixed up grid. Didn't necessarily make the action more exciting. I guess it did at the start as everything sort of equalised for a bit. Max Verstappen took 3 laps to get up to third or second. I think it was third, and I think he got George Russell on lap 8, so he got through the field pretty quick. It took Sainz and Hamilton a bit longer, but it didn't really make the racing any more interesting. These penalties are ridiculous. It was a complete mess of a grid. And other news, Nick Devries made his Formula 1 debut, which was very, very exciting for me. I am a big fan of the Dutchman, the former Formula 2 and Formula E champion, and Mercedes employee. You are looking at the man who will replace Lewis Hamilton one day. Honestly, on this performance alone, finishing 9th on his debut, called up on short notice as well because Alexander Albon has appendicitis. So I want him to have a speedy recovery. Hopefully he'll be back in a couple of weeks. And hopefully Williams have some sense and get Latifi out of that car and put De Vries in it, because I think Albon and De Vries is a pretty good partnership at Williams. Do that for the rest of this year. Have that as your partnership next year. 2024, Mercedes, don't bother to extend Lewis Hamilton's contract because De Vries is good enough to be racing for that team. I think he proved that today. He was pretty spectacular. He did a very good job in qualifying, and in the race he kept his nose clean. He was in the points for the majority of the race. I think he did drop down during the midpoint, but as everything sort of worked itself out, and a few retirements as well helped. 2 points on his debut. Fantastic job from Nick De Vries. What else? Ferrari had some yellow on their cars, and it actually looked pretty good. They do one-off colour schemes very well out of Ferrari. Better than they do pit strategies. The cars look great. You know, it's when they had that special livery for the 1000th Grand Prix, when it was at Misano. That deep red, that looked great. I like that one as well, but I did like this livery quite a lot. Shame they couldn't really perform to match it. It wasn't a bad performance from Ferrari. In fact, given some of their performances this year, this was actually a very good performance from Ferrari. They didn't screw anything up. Carlos Sainz was starting at the back of the grid, so he had a lot of work to do anyway. I don't think he was ever really in contention for a win. His pace just wasn't there. He did a pretty good job getting up to 4th and staying out of trouble. Charles Leclair, he led early on, but once Verstappen was in the lead, he had nothing to compete with him. They tried the early stop under the virtual safety car. It didn't really work out for him, but it wasn't a bad strategy call. They might as well have gone for it, so there was nothing lost really. I think second place is fair. It keeps him in touch in the championship, but he is running out of time, and I think at this point, Charles Leclerc needs stuff to happen to Verstappen. He needs some of those early retirements, the reliability issues Red Bull had at the start of the year to come back, because Verstappen is pulling a massive lead. Everyone else. So we had Verstappen winning again, 5 in a row. Something Lewis Hamilton's only done twice in his career, win 5 races in a row. And he's never won more than 5 in a row. Just saying. Yeah, Charles Leclerc second. George Russell, another great performance. Can't really fault him. Honestly, definitely still in with a shout of second place in the championship. I think he's definitely fighting Charles Leclerc for that. That's going to be probably the more interesting battle going towards the end of the year. Carlos Sainz behind him did a good job. Lewis Hamilton, he was fine, steady enough. Again, kept out of trouble, which is the most important thing when you're starting at the back. He kind of got caught up early on. Like, he was stuck behind Yuki Tsunoda for a few laps, and he got caught up battling Mick Schumacher for a lap or so. And Carlos Sainz looked like he was making faster progress, but in the end it kind of worked out in about the same place anyway. Sergio Perez, this again wasn't a great performance, and again he started towards the back as well. And strategy maybe didn't go his way, but he just doesn't seem to have it. He's not that level of driver. I know he was second in the championship at one point. I know he's won 3 races in Formula 1 now. But he's doing just about enough to make it feasible for Red Bull to win the Constructors' Championship. But if he drops too far behind both Ferraris, and I think he is still ahead of Carlos Sainz. That might be wrong. I haven't actually checked the standings. But Perez is definitely in a battle with the Ferraris to try and make sure Red Bull win that Constructors' Championship. Verstappen has such a big lead, it makes his job easier. But this has not really... It's had its moments, but this hasn't been a great season for Sergio Perez. Behind him, Lando Norris in 7th. It's about where you expect him to finish. Given McLaren's recent results, it's probably not a bad result for them. They were on for a double points finish until Ricciardo broke down towards the end. So it's probably more of a disappointment for McLaren than anything, but Norris did a good job. He had a long first stint. And 7th is really the best you can expect without any of the big teams having issues. Gasly, he scored points in the last couple of races. He's sort of getting back on track now. I think this season is kind of a dud for him, and I'm still wondering if he's going to take that Alpine seat, because I wouldn't blame him. It's probably as close to the front as he's going to get. And AlphaTauri have not really given him a decent platform to compete this year, and it's still interesting to see if they'll get Colton Herta. I would love to see that. But this was another good race for Pierre Gasly, who tends to do well at Monza. He did win here a couple of years ago. Nick Devries in 9th, we've already spoken about. Great results. Guan Yu Zhou in 10th. Good result for the Chinese driver. He's not scored too many points this year. This is only his 3rd points finish, I think. So he'll take it. He'll be very, very happy, I'm sure. And again, he didn't really put a foot wrong during the race. Kept his nose clean, was fairly quiet. We didn't really see him. Everyone else, and actually, to be honest, to be on the top 10, I can't really remember the order they came home in. Esteban Ocon, I think, was 11th. Don't know where he was all race. I don't think I even saw him. He obviously had no pace or something. I can't say because I don't think I saw him once on camera, not even getting lapped. This was not a great race for Alpine or Esteban Ocon. Mick Schumacher, I think, was 12th, which is... I'd call that a good result. He beat Magnussen, and it hasn't got much better than that this year for Mick Schumacher. So, given the rumblings about his seat still going on, it was probably a good result. He had a good qualifying as well, so pass with Mick Schumacher. Was Bottas 13th? I've already forgotten. And really, he should be doing better. Latifi 14th. I would be very worried about his job if I was him. Oh god, who else races in Formula 1? 15, 16, 17. Who have I forgotten? Yuki Tsunoda was somewhere down there. Kevin Magnussen was somewhere down there. It's not really important. Yeah, my brain has just completely frozen on who races in Formula 1. Have I miscounted? So, how many retirements were there? There's 4 retirements. So yeah, that would be a 17, 18. So yeah, so there's only 15, 16. So Yuki Tsunoda was probably 15th and Kevin Magnussen was probably 16th. There you go, we got there in the end. They had bad races. I don't know what's happened to Kevin Magnussen's form, but he's not been great since... Silverstone? Was he even good at Silverstone? No, it's Mick who was good at Silverstone, wasn't it? When was the last time Magnussen was good? He's not had a great second half of the season so far. Tsunoda, bad year, best forgotten. Hopefully he'll get another chance next year because this 2022 has been horrible for him. Beyond that, Ricciardo broke down, brought out the safety car for the last 5 laps that saw us to the finish. Karen Chanduk said something stupid. Because he was talking about red flagging the race so we can have a 1 lap sprint with a standing start for entertainment. If there's only like 4 or 5 laps left and they bring out the red flag, don't they normally just call the result? Like is it over 75% race distance? It's like, we'll give full points anyway, so we'll just stop. I don't think Karun Chanduk understands the rules. And I like Karun. It's not a slight against him. I do kind of expect him to know everything though, because he's a bit of a cipher for motorsport knowledge. I'm sure I've seen interviews of him recalling facts that the person they're about wouldn't remember. And actually the commentary, Sky Sports English commentary, is horrendously bad. Constantly doing that safety car, they're going, no, doesn't this remind you of Abu Dhabi? It's like almost a year ago. Get over it. So your boyfriend was fucking crushed. Everyone should really forget about that now, because it's happened. It's kind of unimportant in 2022, given that Lewis Hamilton has not had a great year. He's being crushed by his teammate. I don't even know if he can catch Verstappen anymore. It's getting pretty close to he can't. And there's still a fair amount of races left. Is it 6 or 7? I think we can forget about Abu Dhabi now. Move on. I honestly hate the English commentary so much. I'm actually tempted to learn another language just so I don't have to listen to them. If I didn't do reviews about Formula 1 on YouTube, I would probably put it on mute and listen to music over it, because the commentary is quite often insipid. Martin Brundle needs to go. Like, he used to be a very good commentator. I don't even think he enjoys it anymore. I mean, he spends most of the time moaning anyway. And constant pandering to Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes. The fact that Nico Rosberg is like a Mercedes ambassador, or at least he used to be, and I don't actually know if he still is. But every time there's something to do with Mercedes, he's there defending them. Like, honestly, Lewis Hamilton could go into an orphanage and stab a child in the face, and Nico Rosberg would defend him on Sky Sports. I'll learn Italian. I don't know who does the Italian commentary, but they cannot be worse than the English commentary. I think that's pretty much all I've got to say about this race. Another win for Max. Great race for Nick Devries. Ferrari didn't embarrass themselves. But no real big incidents. There's no crashes at all. It was a fairly clean race, which is nice to see. I will do a video on IndyCar later if I get a chance to watch it tonight. If not, I'll do it tomorrow. And I'll try and do my weekend roundup tomorrow as well. But there is a hell of a lot of motorsport this weekend, and I'm trying to catch up. I'm still watching the 8 hours of Fiji right now. I've only got an hour and a half left, but I have watched all 6.5 hours so far, except whilst doing this video. It's on mute to the side. And other than that, I've got a couple of Formula 3 and Formula 2 I've still got to watch. The feature races. I've got 2 V8 Supercar races to watch. And the second DTM race. And God knows what else. I can't even remember what else was on this weekend. I am trying to watch as much of it as I can. I am skipping Euro Formula because I don't care. I'm skipping NASCAR as well because I really don't care. But Formula 1 this weekend was very, very good. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We have got over 600 now, which is grand. Let's get to 750 very, very quickly. I'm going to set a hard deadline for end of the year. And that means you should definitely subscribe right now. I'm going to be trying to do at least a video every day this week, or next week technically, so there's going to be plenty of new videos coming up. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a good week. Formula 1's back in 2 weeks time in Singapore. Usually a good race there, so I'm looking forward to it. Have a good one.